What's up, Gamer Nation? How you doing? This is Hub Zero, the old school gamer, and of course, the Iron Heart of Xbox, and welcome to another edition of Gamers Play. This is the time. This is the best time to be a gamer because guess what? We are actually in the week of, formerly known as E3. The not E3 predictions and wishlist. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We actually have a chock full of rumors and speculations and expectations that we are going to be dealing with in the upcoming days. Of course, we have the Summer Game Festival actually happening on June 8th. That's right, this coming Thursday. Believe it's at 5 p.m., 4 p.m., 3 p.m. 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That it is 12 p.m. Pacific time. And of course, we also have some other events that are happening in between. We have the digital, the Devolver group that's actually going to have one. Then we have the Capcom, which is actually going to have their own event. Wow, there is a lot of things. The big one that everyone is waiting for, everyone is speculating on, everyone is anticipating on, everyone who is actually not tempering their expectations on, the Xbox Showcase 2023. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Xbox has a lot to gain and also a lot to lose, but I tell you what, I guarantee you, and I have a very, very, very solid gut feeling that they are going to blow us away. Aaron Greenberg, of course, has been very active on the Twitter feeds. Of course, you know him as the head of marketing, and he has been very, very vocal about what to expect. He actually has been not saying to temper. He has not said to hype up. He is not doing either of those things. He just says to buckle up, and he says to enjoy and keep an open mind. This is actually very, very exciting for everybody. And I tell you what, if and only if he does, or let's just say Xbox does, give us the show of dreams, if you will. It should be very exciting. Of course, we all know that PlayStation already had their showcase, and everyone was mixed. I mean, I'll say overwhelmingly they were disappointed. There were some people who said, well, they're known, they're actually doing their third parties, and a lot of people are speculating that they're actually going to be doing some other events that's probably going to happen very soon. They're actually holding their cards to their chest and they're waiting for Xbox to go first, so that way they can actually counter and yada yada enchilada. I'm not into this console war nonsense. All I know is that, ladies and gentlemen, gamers of all ages, this is actually going to be an exciting time because we already had some amazing bangers that came out recently. We had Diablo 4 that actually got released today. And of course, if you actually had the Ultimate Edition, you actually already had access and you're probably at level 60 or 70 or possibly 80. And then, of course, you also have those who are the part of the fighting game community. They're excited because they actually got the release of Street Fighter 6. That's correct, ladies and gentlemen. One of the best Street Fighters that has been released in a very long time. It actually goes back to the roots of what fighting games are all about. And it had an amazing cast of about 12 or 13 characters that you get to choose. And, of course, a very simple and modified control system for those who are new to the system, new to fighting games in general. But then, of course, you also have the classic controllers for all of the fighting game experts and pros who actually rather have full control of their character, and that is me. I actually prefer to my 6-button controls. And of course, a stellar soundtrack and a wonderful hub that you actually be able to go, and an open world story that you can actually be able to build on your character, and you make your own little avatar, and the choices are endless. The way you actually build your character, weird, funky, distorted characters that you want. And of course, you also have some amazing classic arcade games that you can also play from the Capcom's vault. You can get to play Street Fighter 2 at this time, and of course Final Fight, and you get if you get the highest score, you can actually be able to pair it to all the fighters in the world. Of course, it's actually rollback netcode, so of course the fighting is actually smooth and better, so that way there's no major lag, and you actually get matched up with those who has the perfect ping. And then of course you have the wonderful systems that actually they've built an amazing parry system, counter system. The controls, you actually have all three supers, that at the ready, and of course they separated they have a gauge that you can actually be able to use your dash and your counter and all that. It's the system is so well thought out. If you haven't played Street Fighter 6 yet, my suggestion is you jump on right now. But besides all that excitement, there's also some other great games that are coming out very soon. And I can list them all, but I don't want to waste your time. But let's start with some housekeeping notes. This Friday, I'm actually going to be having on June 9th at 8 p.m. Eastern Pacific time. Eastern Standard Time, excuse me. I'm actually going to be doing a follow-up on the Summer Games Fest. So I give you my thoughts and my opinions on all the games that are going to be shown. I heard that Ed Boon has been very active on the Twitter feeds as well. And he's teasing his Mortal Kombat 1 gameplay, and he says that there might be some guests appearances, and they are not going to be going back on any of their blood and gore in the game. They want to let you know that Mortal Kombat was M for mature for a reason. So then Saturday, Capcom presentation is going to be happening on June 10th. I'm actually going to be doing a follow-up on that as well. It's at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then, of course, on Sunday, June 11th, the big event, Xbox is going to be having their awesome Xbox showcase, which we do not know what they're going to be showing except for Starfield. Starfield is actually going to be having their separate event, most likely the latter half of the showcase. Of course, they already leaked out the controller and the headphones if you have not seen it on the Twitter feeds. And of course, if you don't want to get spoiled, my suggestion is don't look. But 9 out of 10, you're going to see it anyway, because a lot of people have already leaked it out. It's not going to be available until June 12th. It's not available to be able to purchase or play. But I'm actually going to be doing a post show immediately after the show. I can tell you all my thoughts, and of course my positives and my negatives, my excitement, and then of course the disappointments. I'm actually going to lay it all out. I am not going to be holding back at all. And I, of course, like I told you before, I will not temper expectations. I have a lot of expectations for this event. And then, of course, on Monday, I'm actually going to go back to the Retroller Mondays. This past Monday, yesterday, I did have a Pac-Man score challenge that no one decided to show up for, and I actually had a $50 gift card that I was going to be giving out to some lucky players out there who actually have the skills and actually wanted to try to beat my score. And of course, I got it kind of deflated because it was very, very late, but I am actually now doubling down. I am actually adding another $50 gift card to the ante. So it's now 100 USD. You will actually win 100 USD, a gift card of the system or console of your choice or Steam. All you need to do is be able to beat my score, and trust me, I like to play hard. When it comes down to money on the line, I actually am going to go hard. So if you do beat my score, if you do actually have the skills, the chops, and it is going to be on the hardest mode of Pac-Man. That's right, it is not going to be easy peasy lemon squeezy, and not at all. It's going to be the 256 glitch version of, that means pure arcade version of the Pac-Man game. That means there is no mercy, and I am going to be going hard, so hopefully you actually have your thumbs or your wrists ready to go, because I tell you what, that score is going to be very, very high, and I'm hoping that you do have it. But here's the caveat: if there's a lot of entrants, the highest score overall will actually win that 100 USD, and I will give you further details on how you will actually earn it. If you are from another region, another country, I will actually try to up the ante and try to give you the amount that you actually deserve for the region that you are. So that means if it's actually going to be Canadian bucks, or if it's going to be the rupees or ruble, or it's going to be the yen, or it's going to be the whatever it is, I will actually make sure. And then let's say it's going to be via PayPal for those particular ones, but the gift cards that are actually for USD will actually be the actual gift card. So you will actually get the actual gift card code. So, without further ado, let's get into this show.
Welcome to the theater of the eye. 500,000 polygons a second.
Me.
16 million colors. Wreak some havoc in your head.
Say, sir.
And I'm back. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get started with some of my predictions for Nintendo. I might as well start small. I want to go into the main event. Let's start small. The Summer Games Fest, which is actually happening this coming Thursday. Of course, Jeff Keighley, who's going to be the host, is going to be having a lot of different games from different developers and different publishers. We do not know what to expect, but I do believe that we are going to be seeing, most likely, some of Nintendo's, I guess I would say, surprises. One of the big surprises that I'm hoping for, and I actually have been speculating on this, I'm hoping that they actually talk about Metroid Prime 4. Now, I know about 5 years ago they actually did announce Metroid Prime 4, and they only showed a logo. Everybody got excited. Everybody they went all crazy, including myself, of course. But unfortunately, there was no further details, nothing at all. We didn't know who was going to be the publisher. We don't know what the partnership is going to be. Some people speculated it's going to be most likely for, I think it was a group called 4F4. I forget what it was. But they're actually going to be. They usually partner with Nintendo, especially with the original games, the original Metroid Prime games, but then of course years later they did come up with what? Metroid Prime Remake, which, believe it or not, everyone was praising. They improved everything. They improved the controls. They improved the textures. The sound quality was fantastic. Everything about the game just screams Metroid Prime. And everyone remembers Metroid Prime from the GameCube. GameCube was, like one of the... was a very powerful console. For as small as it actually was, it was a small console. So, I don't know. I think that, in my honest opinion, it was a good choice. No one knew when Metroid Prime 4 is or when is it going to be announced. All I know is that Metroid Prime was a game. Metroid Prime 4 is a game that everyone was anticipating. And I actually am anticipating that game as well. But here's the thing. Still nothing. Nobody knows anything about it. Nintendo's been very hush-hush about it as well. So we don't know. I'm looking forward to, some further details. I'm hoping they actually announce that during E3. But then again, we don't know what else Nintendo has. Nintendo have a lot of things up their sleeve. What about Mario Odyssey 2? I heard rumor has it they're actually going to be doing a sequel to Mario Odyssey. Could there be, maybe an additional character? Maybe Luigi might be an additional character. Who knows? But they said the worlds might be bigger. There might be more. There might be more worlds to explore. Everyone thinks that Bowser is going to be returned, obviously, because that is Mario's nemesis. The spectacular music, we don't know. But there was a very memorable tune that everyone actually loved, and I'm looking forward to seeing if they do announce that. Then of course they might throw in some third parties. I heard that Ubisoft might have an appearance. They're probably going to show more about Assassin's Creed Mirage. Maybe they'll show some gameplay. Maybe, I'm not too sure. Maybe they'll just do a soft trailer. Then of course Ed Boon, decided to kind of spill the beans and tell everyone that they are going to show some gameplay to Mortal Kombat 1, which I cannot wait until I see what they're cooking up in the kitchen. But the way he actually announced it, which is actually, here's speculation time. Okay, here's a little bit of speculation. I have a speculation that they are going to announce a partnership, most likely, with maybe with Microsoft, or whatever, and have one of the characters from the Killer Instinct universe come in as a guest character, because they mentioned something about combos and of course breakers. Now, but then again, they remember they did have breakers in the Mortal Kombat universe, and they took it out. So having breakers back into the system is actually something that people actually would welcome, because I mean, come on, people have been coming up with some amazing combos. If people were playing as Aaron Black, and you know how badass he is. He actually, sometimes, well, not unstoppable, but he is. And then, of course, you have Cabal as well. He's a badass character. We don't know what characters they're gonna start off with. Maybe, but are they gonna start with the original starting 9? Are they gonna have or they're gonna have most likely the Mortal Kombat 2 roster? Obviously, there's gonna be God Liu Kang. There's gonna be Raiden, Shang Tsung, Sub-Zero, Scorpion. They didn't show anything about Sonya. They didn't show anything about Johnny Cage. They didn't show anything about. They did show Raiden, but does Raiden have his attacks anymore? Does Kung Lao? Kung Lao is another character that they showed. Does Kung Lao have his attacks? I mean, because his hat was a straw in the trailer. Does he not have that anymore? Does he have new techniques? I don't know. This is actually very interesting. I'm actually invested in seeing what they're going to do with Mortal Kombat. Now, here's the thing: are they going to have any Microsoft presence at this event? 9 out of 10, I guarantee you they probably are. There are probably going to be some smaller games that actually Microsoft has partnerships with, or there are going to be some maybe even they might even show Sea of Thieves. Maybe they'll show the Sea of Thieves DLC at Keighley's event and actually leave it open to, I don't know, maybe put them in the, and as filling that spot for some meteor games over in at the Xbox showcase. I'm actually go into further details when I get to that. That's for later on. What else? Microsoft. Oh man, what do you have? I mean, someone was mentioning that they're actually not going to have Forza Motorsport at the Xbox showcase, possibly, and maybe they're going to lean that towards the Keighley's event over at the Summer Games Fest. You know what? That might be possible, because they did do a long presentation. Remember, for the developer direct, for the Xbox, where they shadow dropped Hi-Fi Rush. And if you had not played Hi-Fi Rush, my suggestion is you get on it right now. If you don't have Game Pass and you do have Steam, download it now. If you don't have Game Pass, what are you waiting for? Get Game Pass and download the game now. It is a amazing game, fantastic rhythm game, action, great story, memorable characters. Definitely worth your money. From the wonderful team over at Tango Gameworks. They did a masterful job, and of course, we are looking forward to what they are going to do next. But, Forza Motorsport. My goodness, I don't know. I feel like Forza Motorsport might have a presence. Maybe they'll do like an in-game gameplay, or maybe they'll just do like a sizzle reel. Who knows? I have no idea. As for Sony, let's talk about Sony for a second. I think, not worst case scenario. What am I saying? I feel that they're going to show off some of the good stuff. Maybe they're going to show off factions. Maybe because everyone's been asking for it. But then again, they did say, and there was a special note on Twitter, that they are really hard at work, and they are not going to show anything until they're absolutely ready. Maybe they're not going to show up at all. Maybe they'll surprise you. Maybe they will. Maybe they'll show a teaser. Who knows? I have no idea. Me, personally, I think they might, they may actually, may tease something. Who knows? Just to kind of whet your appetite and everything until they get the actual gameplay ready. But let's go into some other things. The Horizon. I don't think they're going to do a sequel. They already did one sequel. They did a DLC as well. So I don't think we're going to show anything about that. The sequel to Ghost of Tsushima. We don't know what the actual name is going to be. Maybe they'll show the sequel. Maybe they'll show a nice long, well, not a long trailer, but most likely a nice little splash or what have you. Showing, hey, Ghost of Tsushima, yes, it's coming. They'll show that. I don't think that Wolverine is going to show up at all at this in these events at all. I don't think so. I don't think it's not ready. I don't think it's ready. Spider-Man doesn't even have a release date yet. Spider-Man 2 doesn't have a release date yet. So why would they actually show Wolverine and not even have a release date for the Spider-Man 2? Who knows? I don't know. I really am. I'm really curious on what's going to happen. Then, of course, we have, what's another game? Bloodborne. Now, here's another one. Bloodborne, everyone's been hoping. This is actually kind of speculation time. I'm actually going to go into speculation time. I have a feeling that Bloodborne is going to have some kind of presence here. Everyone's been asking for it. Everyone's been clamoring for it. They want a sequel really, really bad. But I don't know. I have this weird gut feeling that somehow, some way, that Bloodborne is going to have some type of presence at this event. Why do I say this? Because it's been about how many years since the first Bloodborne? About 6 years, 5 years? About 5 years. Came out for the PlayStation 4. Everyone loved it. It was a fantastic game, Great story, amazing character, It was like one of the best Souls game out there. From Software was masterful when it comes to that. And then, of course, everyone finished the game probably backwards and forwards, but they are still waiting for some type of sequel or something. They're waiting for something, But since then, Dead Souls came out, and Dead Souls 2 and Dead Souls 3. And then of course a remake of Demon Souls that came out. But no Bloodborne. I have a feeling that maybe they're going to do a remake. Maybe that group, I believe it was called Firestorm or whatever. What is it called? They are going to be doing They're going to be probably doing the helm of that for the PlayStation 5. I have a feeling that is not going to be cross-gen. I think they are done with it. They are going to be going strictly to PlayStation 5 exclusively. I don't know. I think that Sony might have some things up their sleeve. I mean, people are like, oh, they're going to be going games as a service. Oh, they're going to go games as a service. Now, here's the thing. They did show games as a service and everything during the showcase, but I have a feeling that it's actually for their investors because they want to know, okay, Microsoft is going through this, that, and the other. What are you going to do? How are you going to recoup? How are you going to get your money? And, of course, the best way to do that and everything is to go for a games as a service. Why? It makes sense. I mean, look, they actually showed Phone Stars, which is actually a multiplayer type of game. Of course, there's going to be a lot of microtransactions and paid DLC. We don't know. That's something to look forward to. And then, of course, it's a game called what was it called again? What is it called again? That one with the money. I don't know. That was like the first game they actually showed. That's one of those. That's another game. that's of course going to be one of those games as a service as well. Yeah, games as a service. It's a thing. It's a thing. So, um, so, but now I have a feeling that they're probably gonna have to show some type of games. I don't know whether it be an indie game or indie games that are coming out. You know, they're gonna have to show some kind of fillers and everything. Everything can't be just a games as a service, of course. So we'll see. I have no idea. This should be interesting. And what else is there? What else? They're gonna. I'm very sure they're not going to show any more trailers for Gran Turismo because Sony already did that. But then again, we did know that, Jeff Keighley, he's commercialized, he's actually always into that. And this is another reason why that I think E3, I wish E3 was back. But you know what? No one cares about E3, so I digress. I think that but they're going to show off the trailer to Witcher Season 3 out there, Season 4, I think it is, whatever. Henry Cavill, which is a shock. I mean, Henry Cavill is actually reprising his role as Geralt in the new Witcher trailer for Netflix. So, how are they going to show this at a game event? I have no clue. Because it's a game event, but then of course they have to pay the bills. So commercials are going to have to be a part of it. I don't know. That's just a thing. Whatever. But I will be right back because we are going to be discussing something very, very interesting. We're going to talk about the Xbox Showcase.
Okay, we've got good news and bad news. The good news is these games kick serious butt. The bad news is you're the butt.
You're not ready.
Introducing GoldenEye 007. The first Bond adventure. Where you direct the action.
Do you know how to use one of these?
Shot by shot by shot. Load a rumble pack and see how it feels when 007 meets Nintendo 64. See the next Bond movie.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, I am back, and we are actually down to the final stretch of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, this is actually the main event. We are going to be talking about Xbox. Yes. Xbox in their showcase, which is actually going to be showing up on June 11th. That's right, June 11th. It's going to be here at approximately 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And of course, I am actually going to be here for it. Oh, what a day, what a day. It's going to be amazing. We actually have been getting a lot of fake lists and speculations and temporary expectations and all of this stuff. It's been ridiculous. It's been absolutely ridiculous. And you know what? I don't want to do it no more. I'm sick and tired of actually tempering my expectations, because every single year when you think, oh, they're going to have something big, somehow they fumble it at the gate. We did have a few, pardon me. We did have a few great shows before the pandemic, of course. And then, of course, afterwards, it kind of fell through, and everything was just slowly but surely going to, well, let's just say, get back to normal. Well, this year, ladies and gentlemen, there is no more excuses. There is no more waiting. There is no more wait until E3. Wait until E3. Well, there is no E3. There is none. There is no wait for nothing, because there is nothing there. So this is the not E3 prediction show for the Xbox. And of course, everybody knows that Bill Spencer has had enough of everyone's crap. He has been beaten to the ground. He's been whipped. He has been ridiculed. People were like, fire Phil. He actually did this and the other thing. Oh, he's such a failure. And then, of course, we had one shining moment. Of course, we had several shining moments, if we remember correctly. Let's date back to, I believe it was 2012. Was 2012? No, sorry. I think it was 2019, if I'm not mistaken. 2019, over at Jeff Keighley's, I think it was his show. Was it 20? Yes, that's right. It was actually his, at the Keighley's. They call it the Keighley's. The Game Awards show, where they actually showed off the Xbox Series X console, and they showed off Hellblade 2. One big moment, the year of momentum. We thought everything was going to go great. And then, of course, the year 2020 came through, and it was basically little bit of DLC here, there, and everywhere. Not much to eat on. 21, they actually had a huge list of great games and everything. They said, okay, yes, we actually have a list. The list is actually going to be great. We are going to bring out some amazing games. 2021 goes through. Not much to jump on everything. I believe there's only like 1 or 2 games. And then this is actually around the launch of the Xbox Series console, Xbox Series S and X. The Xbox Series X was hard to get your hands on. Xbox Series S was there in abundance. Everybody was actually wondering, okay, the Xbox Series S is a digital console. Are they going all digital? Are they not going to do any discs anymore? Who knows? 2022 comes around. Everyone's been speculating. They said, oh, we are going to have a huge list. We have a 12-month, get this, 12 months. We have the roadmap. 12 months of these amazing games that are coming to Game Pass day and date. And not one title, except for the sparingly of the few, actually showed up. Then, of course, in 2022, everyone was waiting, and there was nothing. No word on anything. Nothing on Hellblade. Nothing on Fable. Nothing on anything. Not even Forza Motorsport. You know, people were getting frustrated. People were getting tired. I was getting tired. Everyone's getting antsy. They were thinking, oh, they're going to be bringing out great games, day and date, third-party deals. And no one really cared. Yes, there were some shining moments. You know, they had Persona. They had the Yakuza series. They had everything. They had you know, quite a few amazing titles, you know, that's available on the on Game Pass. That's the reason why they're the best value in gaming. But then nothing. But of course, Sony had some amazing bangers. They had amazing games. You know, they had a Horizon game. You know, the Horizon not Forbidden West. Horizon Forbidden West that came out. You know, they showed that off. That came out. You know, they had The Last of Us 2. That came out. You know, they had the Ghost of Tsushima. You know, that came out. They had Spider-Man. As a matter of fact, they had Spider-Man twice in their years. You know, and Miles Morales, that came out. You know, and then of course the sequel to God of War came out. You know, God of War 2, that came out. You know, but in the Xbox side, nothing. Okay, enough with the bashing. I think you know, they got the gist. It's 2023 right now. You know, everyone's been waiting. Everyone's been speculating. Hi-Fi Rush came out. Of course, everyone's like waiting again. And then, of course, Redfall, another game that they actually showed off. And everybody actually had high expectations because Arcane Studios, Austin, was an amazing game, amazing company. They actually did make Deathloop, which actually had high praises, of course, because it came out for the PlayStation 4 first, of course. And then, of course, it got ported to the Xbox about a year and a half later. Same thing as Ghostwire Tokyo. And then when Redfall finally came out, everyone was excited. They said, yes, this is actually the start. This is the start to momentum. The dud. Came out buggy. Came out horrible. There was rubber banding. There was not rubber banding, but there was glitches all over the place. You know, there was disappearing vampires. There was vampires actually going through walls. There was, you know, you going through walls. There's invisible guns. There was times that you couldn't even connect. There's times that you got disconnected because, of course, it's an online game. You have to be online to play a single player campaign. And then, of course, the graphics. Let's talk about the graphics. The graphics were subpar at best. And not only that, the worst sin of all. They were showing off 60 frame per second gameplay, and it was on what? PC, not console. And then they came out. Not. This is the slap in the face. The week before the game got released, they said that the game, when it released, will not have 60 frames per second performance mode at launch. We will launch it at a later time, and they to this day have not patched it in, and I don't think they will. They'll probably most likely do a shadow drop of that. Probably in the future. Who knows? I don't know. People are still playing the game, but even people are saying that there's more people playing Forspoken. PlayStation game. They're playing more Forspoken than Redfall. But I know I'm dragging on. Let's get into the nitty-gritty, shall we? Now we are into the month of June. Everyone's been looking forward to it. Of course, Phil Spencer had a wonderful interview over the guys at Kind of Funny, and they said there's not Kind of Funny. I'm sorry. Over at the IGN at the Xbox Xcast, and they said, and he said He said, I am done talking about it. I'm done talking about it. I'm done talking about it. Now it is time for me. It's time for me to just show. It's better for you to have the game in your hands and judge for yourself than me actually talk about it. Well, you know what? We are at that point. They said that the roadmap looks good. They said that they're feeling confident. They said finally we actually have a vision about where we're going to go. They said they were going to have a good cadence. And then of course they showed a wonderful video. They showed a wonderful video online, and it looked it was like, I was like, oh really? I see. It was kind of funky. Let's just put it to you that way. And this is actually at the team of Xbox, of course. They decided to do something like this, and I will put up the video in just a second. Shout out to all of you who actually are watching right now. Please hit the like and subscribe button if you like any of the content that I'm doing right now. This is actually, I'm getting much better at this and everything. You know what? And I actually feel pretty darn good. I have the energy. I actually did my show on time this time. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling real good. So let's see. Let me see if I can find it. I think it should be in my notes. Oh yes, here it is. Alright, let me just show you this video and judge. I want you to judge for yourself. Yeah, this is something that this is a thing of beauty. Oh, this is a thing of beauty. La 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 la. Yeah. Let's see if I can find it. Xbox has actually gotten very bold as well. I love this type of Xbox. This is the Xbox that I miss. Ah, yes. Here we go. Let me see if I can actually get that on the screen. Ah, yes. Alright, hold on. Let me see if I can. Alright, hold on 1 second. Let me just get that right there. Yes, here we go. Yes. Alright, you can go ahead and see for yourself. I have the sound up as well. Let's see. Here we go. Sorry about that. I actually had to. Pretty funky, right? I mean, I like this kind of bold. I like this kind of bold Xbox. Why couldn't we have this kind of Xbox, if they could have had this 2 years ago. 2 years ago. If they had this 2 years ago, it would have been fantastic. It would have been fantastic. And you know what? I just feel like that was a misfire. A huge misfire. And I'm just a little shaken up about it, but you know what? I like this boldness. And I have a feeling that the guys over at Sony and the PlayStation brand really started, beating the Xbox brand down so badly that now they're starting to growl and show their teeth. This is not the friendly Phil Spencer that we know. No. This is dark side Phil. Oh yeah, this is dark side. This is actually the shadow Phil. Oh yeah. And he is not going to be backing down. I think they're pulling out all the stops. All the games that they actually promised are going to be showing up. And I'm actually going to go through a list. But actually, believe it or not, there's a list that I actually have found online right now that, believe it or not, I'm not really skeptical about, but it's pretty darn wild what they're showing right there. Let me see if I can actually try to increase the size of this. I'm not too sure if I can. I think I should be able to. No. Darn, it's too small. Way too small. Alright, so I'm going to show you in a second. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can share my screen. See if I can actually get this a little bit bigger. Hold on a second. Yes. Yes, here we go. Nope. I can't seem to get it any bigger. Oh, yes, I can. Okay, here we go. Now this works. Okay. Yes, I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you right now. Hold on one second. Yes. Now, this is a leaked list that actually showed up, I believe it was earlier today. So I am actually going to show you this, and I want you to give me your opinion about it. So this right here is the list of the Xbox Games Showcase. This has actually showed up online. Now, there are a lot of speculations that I have that I'm actually kind of curious about. There's a few. Let's talk about a few. Let's talk about Avowed. Avowed is actually one of those games that I expected to show up there, regardless. I mean, Obsidian, you can't go wrong with Obsidian. You can't go wrong. Obsidian has been, had hits with bangers, of course, like The Outer Worlds, and of course Grounded, and Pentiment. They're bringing out hits, and of course they're the ones who actually created that I considered one of the definitive Fallout games, Fallout New Vegas, which rumor has it, and I think it's a rumor has it that they're actually going to be doing a sequel of some sort, because it actually kind of somewhat leaked, because it showed up on the Fallout 4 mods, something like that, and they actually showed it off, and it said Bethesda and Obsidian. I take that with a grain of salt, because it could have been an edit, and no one's really owned up to it, and no one said it was fake either. So I'm just going to leave that to speculation. Forza Motorsport. Now, this is actually what I was talking about before. Forza Motorsport was actually one of those games that I feel that may be omitted from the event. The reason why I say this is because they already talked about Forza Motorsport during the Xbox Game Developers Direct. This was actually sometime last year. Actually, no, not last year. This year, in February. We got a lot of information, but still no date. Now, some people were saying, but Forza Motorsport, they didn't even put a date yet. So, it makes perfect sense. So maybe they'll do a sizzle reel and didn't actually show the actual date that the game comes on. So, you know what? Maybe you're onto something. Maybe they don't put that much emphasis and time on Forza Motorsport. They don't do no long, drawn-out thing. No in-game footage or any of that nonsense. They're just going to put out some shots, some sizzles, whatever it is, and then, of course, they're going to say available X, Y, and Z 2023. Who knows? I don't know what date they're going to choose. But of course, it's not going to. It can't conflict with Starfield's release. So, and everyone knows that Starfield is actually one of the most anticipated, and everyone knows the few other things that I'm actually going to talk about in a little bit. Let's talk about Age of Empires 4. They're finally doing the console version of the Age of Empires 4. That's a game that I feel that's a possibility. Because they already did the Age of Empires and Age of Empires 2. They made console versions of that. Age of Empires 4 is already available on PC. So why not make the Xbox version? It makes perfect sense. Age of Mythology Retold. Now, I maybe they're going to do that as a package deal. Maybe they're going to show Age of Empires 7, and then they're going to show a little bit of gameplay of that, and then they're probably going to go straight into Age of Mythology Retold. They're probably as a package deal. So basically, they're going to condense both of the videos. Black Myth Wukong. Now, I am skeptical. Okay, I'm not. I mean, it'd be awesome if it did show up. I really do. I think it would be really awesome if Black Myth Wukong does show up, because remember, years ago they did actually. It was made by only one. I believe one person actually made the game. Or was it several? I think it was like a few. Of course, there was a few things that happened in China and stuff like that actually had to abandon their studio and what have you, but they actually came back to it and yada yada. I forgot what it was. It looked freaking amazing then, but I'm pretty sure after years of polish, maybe they'll actually have a full-on trailer, and if it's actually as good as they did show before, or even better, I'm all for it. Neon White. Not really too sure what Neon White actually is. I didn't get a chance to really see too much of it. I was trying to look it up. I think it's actually it's a game that actually deals with like virtual reality of some sort and everything. You're in some kind of matrix thing or whatever. It's like almost like a top-down shooter in a sense. It looks pretty interesting. I think something like that. So I'm actually gonna look further into that and everything. I'll probably talk about it later in the video. Cocoon. It's very interesting. Cocoon is actually I think it's based off of the movie of the same name. And I have a feeling that it's more of a interactive video type, or one of those point and click ones. I'm not really too sure. I've heard a couple of rumors that it's probably something like that. If they do show that, I'm pretty sure it's going to be short and sweet, so they're not going to show too much. They'll probably show some in-game footage, or maybe some concept, because Aaron Greenberg did say that they're actually going to have either in-game footage, or in an in-game video, or a video with cinematics. I'm not really too sure, but there's no CGI. They said that. But then again, it's play on words, so take that with a grain of salt. Banisher's Ghosts of New Eden from Don't Nod. That's another interesting one. It's actually going to be on game. Now you notice also on the notes and everything, it says exclusive, and then it says Game Pass. Now I don't know what the difference is. If it's going to be exclusive and on Game Pass, or if it's going to be exclusive and then it's going to go on Game Pass. But most likely everything's going to be day and date. So let's continue. So Banisher's Ghosts of New Eden. I'm not sure exactly what that game is about. I'm actually going to look into it. Maybe I'll get some video on that in the future, or maybe later on. Maybe I'll just kind of do like a couple little browsers and everything, and then I'll show you the video. 1 vs 100. Oh my gosh. Now, I remember this game for the 360. Came out, I believe it was 2008, 9? I think it's 8 or 9. One of the two. It's right before the Kinect. Right before the Kinect actually was even remotely available. I think it was. Actually, yeah, it was actually around. No, it was actually, matter of fact, it was around the same time because that's when the avatars were actually available. And you can actually be able to play a game show live with about several 100 other players, and you are one of them. And you actually get to, I think you, what do you win? I think you win like game points or something like that. It wasn't dollars anymore. It wasn't back then. It was actually more like points. I think it was. Fun as heck. I love one versus 100. They need to bring that back. That'd be that ultimate party game. Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. Now, everyone knows that they already showed the game not once but twice. They showed the cinematics, CGI version of the game during the Game Awards. Then they showed the game again. I think it was about a year or two later. I think it was a year later. Then they showed some in-game footage. In-game and action, I guess you say. It was generated. It was made from the old Unreal 4 engine, which actually used some assets from Unreal 5. It looked kind of dark and kind of grayish, so I don't know if it was fully polished, but it looked promising. But now that they actually showed off their new technologies with Unreal Engine 5 and the new what you call metahuman technology, that you don't even need the equipment. All you need is a camera and your face, and it pinpoints your facial features, and you can be able to put that on any digital character that you create, which cuts back on time on development, which accelerates the development time. I think that Ninja Theory might bring that game out this year, and some people were speculating and said, "Oh, it's not going to be available this year. It's going to come out next year." I don't know. I have a feeling that Hellblade 2 is going to be a surprise. It's going to be a surprise. I think it's going to be one of a holiday hit. I have a feeling. Star Wars, Mandalorian Crusaders, The Lost Empire. Alright, now here's where speculation comes in. They did mention that Bethesda GameSoft Works and everything, and Disney did do a collaboration, I think, ZeniMax Studios. They actually had a collaboration with Disney, and they're supposedly supposed to come out with some kind of Star Wars game. Some people were speculating there was going to be something dealing with The Mandalorian, and I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, like, once again, these are all speculations. These are all pie in the sky. I don't think that game is going to be coming out anytime soon. But if they do show it, it's going to be pretty wild. I thought it was going to be something else, but they said it's supposed to be more of an open world, like type of RPG-ish type of game, where you can actually choose your own, make your own character or whatever, and be in the world. I don't know. As Dusk Falls 2, Season 2. Okay, that makes perfect sense, because remember the first game did end up with a cliffhanger. If you actually familiarize with the game, amazing game. It didn't win an award during the Game Awards. And of course the actors, they did a fantastic job. It's a fantastic story. Although it's no full animation, it's just pretty much almost like stop animation. And it's a very good, interesting story. It's worth a play. Bloody Hell Hotel. Don't have no clue what that game actually is. This is the first time I've actually seen it. I don't know what it is. I'm actually kind of going to look it up, and I'm going to try to find it, because I just found out about this. This list is fairly new. I literally found out about this list about not even 5 minutes before I even aired my show. Eredin Chronicle, 100 Heroes. Yes, finally. They're finally going to find out exactly when the game is going to be released. Everyone has played Eredin Chronicles, the game that came out for Origins, that came out for the Game Pass. Is still available for Game Pass. It's a side-scrolling game where you'll be able to switch through 2 to 3 characters, and you get all different types of attacks and combos. Of course, you actually be able to level up and actually do different video tasks for some of the villagers. Great game, very weird story, but is it worth it? Why not? Go for it. It's a pretty wild wild type of game. If you like any type of side-scrolling RPGs and everything, that's something to be up your alley. Exo Mecha, yes, I remember this game that they showed the video of that. I believe it was in 2019. I think it was 2019, 2020, 2019 or 2020, one of the two. No, it was in 2020. That's right. No. It was actually around that time, yeah, because I remember they actually showed for the Xbox One X, if I'm not mistaken, and this game was going to be one of those games that was going to come out for it, and then dead silence, nothing else new. Made by Twisted Red. They said they were in some development trouble, I think, and it's a console launch exclusive. Okay, that would make sense. So maybe there might have been a contract fell through or something like that. So it's going to be exclusive probably for a short period of time, and then it's going to be available for all the other consoles like or the PC and PlayStation 5. Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn. Now that's a game I'm very, very interested in. Oh my goodness, it looks very, very good. Looks very promising. Where you actually have I think it was a creature that actually helps you warp and stuff like that, and actually helps you attack. You have weapons, and you have it looks really good. You have different bosses. Something to look forward to. I can't wait. Lies of P. Yes, that's another game that I'm interested in. Basically, it's almost like another rendition of Pinocchio's story. If you're not familiar with Pinocchio, of course, he has, Geppetto. He actually had made a wish upon a star, and he wanted to have a real boy. So, of course, he made one of his wooden puppets turn real. And then, of course, the puppet actually has stipulations. If it lies too much, you will actually, their nose will grow or what have you, or things will actually happen to it, and it will surely die. Now, this one actually is different because your lies are actually going to be either give you power or some great weaknesses. And I am kind of curious about what the story actually is about, but it looks like more like a Souls type of game. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. Lakebrook Legacies, not really too sure what that is. Have no idea. Probably an indie game. I'll look further into that. Wuthering Waves, another indie game. Not really too sure. There's probably going to have an announcement. I don't know what it exactly is about. No one knows. Sea of Thieves. Now, some people were like, "Oh, there's not going to be any the announcements for DLC at the." What makes you think they're not? This is actually dealing with the Monkey Island story. Now, whether you figure it's going to be huge or not. Now, if you're not familiar with Monkey Island is actually a great point-and-click adventure. I think it's Return of Monkey Island, and of course, they actually made the third sequel. It's a very interesting story. I love the style. I love the story. It's very short. It's fairly short. You could probably finish it probably in 8 to 10 hours. It's worth your time. But Sea of Thieves, how they're gonna do their little take on that, I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe they're gonna actually be able to meet the main character, and maybe you have to go on to some stories or what have you. I don't know. We'll see. Gears of War, the Ultimate Collection. Now, here's another one. I want to take this one with a grain of salt. The reason why I say this because they have been talking about. There's been rumors that a Gears of War collection supposedly was actually in the works. Whether it's going to be available sooner than later, I'm not too certain. Or if they're actually going to have that as a shadow drop. Now, I'm not sure if it's going to be a shadow drop or not, but if they actually have it as a shadow drop during this event, the internet's going to have a meltdown. I have a feeling it's going to be using the Unreal Engine 5 assets. And it's going to be probably Gears of War 1, 2, and 3. I don't think 4 or 5 is actually going to be part of it because you can actually get that now, but it's going to be probably the first 3. Hey, I'm all for it. Everyone wants more Gears. That would be amazing if they actually have all of the Gears games, and of course all the maps, and of course the Horde mode, and oh my gosh. You want to talk about all-nighters? Do you want to ignite the whole entire Xbox Nation finally, once again? Do this. And then, of course, the announcements of Gear 6. Oh my gosh. If they do this, the internet will actually completely melt down and the service will actually explode. I'm all for Gears. I finished practically all of them. I'm actually going back because some of my files were corrupted, so I have to go back through 1 through 3 again to actually get my things because there's a few achievements that I still haven't received yet. And of course, I finished 4 and 5, so I'm all for it. I can't wait. Stalker, Heart of Chernobyl. Hopefully, this game will be fully completed because, of course, as you know, the developers GSC Game World, they are actually still in the middle of some stupid battle, and between Russia and Ukraine. We don't know exactly what's going on, but we also heard a rumor that they actually hacked into their system and some of the assets are actually out there in the wild. They are actually unfinished assets, and they're telling everyone to please just don't leak anything out. And so far, so good. No one's leaked anything, so we don't know what's going on. Parallax, the Terrible Time Paradox. Do not know what that is, but it's actually made from Xbox Game Studios, so it might be something new, something that we don't even know about. I'm actually, once again, I'm going to take that with a grain of salt. I'm not sure what it takes to this. Then, of course, there's Aura, History Untold. Everyone knows what Aura is, by Oxide Games. Replaced, another game that actually showed, it's a side-scrolling type of game in lieu of like, what's a good comparison? To, I don't know. Like Out of This World, or what's another great game? Oh my goodness, I forgot what the game is called. Well, anyway, but it's going to be it's a very interesting game. Even the soundtrack sounds very good. I actually have one of the soundtracks on my Spotify. You can look it up yourself. Crash Team Rumble. Who cares? I mean, everyone knows what Crash Team Rumble is. It's a racing game, yada yada. Hollow Knight Silksong. Will they actually show the date? I'm hoping they do, because everyone's been waiting. They were hoping, and I'm hoping that they actually do say, hey, and it's also going to be on Game Pass. Who knows? Two Falls. Do not know what it is, but it's made by Nishu Takuashina. I'm sorry if I butchered the name. I don't know who these are. I don't know what this game is, but you know what? Take that with a grain of salt. I don't know if that's a proper leak, but then again, who knows? Side Games. Now here's an interesting one. Okay, Side Games. You know who Side Games is. Side Games is actually one who actually does like those games for what is it called? I forgot what it's called. Genshin Impact and what have you. Side Games making Project Awakening and Shadowverse. Hey, you know what? I'll take that and the thing, but we'll see. But it's announcements, so they're not gonna really show much. Now, there's where things kind of go like, yeah, I don't think that's actually going to happen. Maybe. But I mean, it's wishful thinking, and I trust me. And if there's like something that's on my left side of my brain, Sega bringing Jet Set Radio back to the Xbox consoles. Is it going to be a remake? Is it going to be a remaster? Is it going to be anything like that? I don't know. All I know is that it's going to be a Jet Set Radio, And I'm hoping that they actually do bring a Jet Set Radio, because believe it or not, it's been sorely missed. No one has made a new version of Jet Set Radio Future. Jet Set Radio Future will always be stuck on the OG Xbox, and it will not go to anything else, not even another console, not even a PC. You know, I believe people actually even try to reconstruct the game, and it was actually not the official game. But there you are. There you have it. You know, Jet Set Radio Future is one of those games. If you get in the OG Xbox, if you can find one, get your hands on Jet Set Radio Future. You will not be mistaken. The soundtrack is impeccable. It's amazing. There's a lot of things to do, and of course the cast of characters that you actually unlock in the game, and all the special tricks and what have you. It's gonna be great. It's great. It's awesome. Understand the concept of love. Still classic. Persona 3 Remake, another rumored game that's going to be made by Atlas and Sega, of course. Persona 3 is sorely needed of a remake of some sorts. So it doesn't look like a PSP Game Boy Advance. Well, not Game Boy Advance, sorry. Game Boy, I can't even call it Game Boy. The 3DS type of game. I would love to see what it would look like if it was actually remade. Probably made with the same graphics and the same love that they did for Persona 5. Can't wait. Hopefully they'll keep the voiceovers the same. We'll see. Wandering Tower, I do not know what that is. I will look that up and try to find out about that. Contraband. Now here's a game. Contraband is one of those games that I really felt like they need to tell us something, because that trailer does not give us any clue what the game is. But all we know is that it's supposed to be a co-op open world looting type of game where you actually be able to drive around the country or drive around and to collect the loot and everything, and be able to bring the loot to certain cartels and worlds, stuff like that, or whatever. And but most likely I think there's going to be gunplay and vehicles, and you build super vehicles, and I don't know. It looks interesting, and I think I also heard there's supposed to be a very interesting soundtrack as well. Twilight's Edge, Wings of Despair. Have no idea what that is, but Compulsion Games. This could be their secret project. Now, I don't know. That's something that I'm a little curious about. Will it? I don't know. Sounds good. I don't know what it looks like because there's nothing out there at all about that game. Same thing with Fable. Haha. Now, I already showed you the teaser. If they don't show Fable at this event, if they don't, people out there are going to come up with torches and pitchforks. People are going to take you out and everything and claim that you are a witch and burn you at the stake. Because that teaser that I showed earlier, it's just too obvious. Even the soundtrack sounded like Fable. Come on. He can't get any more obvious than that. And then, of course, it was a picture with Aaron Greenberg, Larry Herb, and I forgot what the other guy's name is. But they were actually on the picture and everything. And then on the top and everything, it says Abel. Now, please, help me with this one. Why would you actually put out a picture like that and say, oh, this is nothing? But you made it too obvious, please. I know that Fable's coming. So Fable is going to be showing off. I have a feeling that it's going to blow people away. I have a feeling that Playground Games is actually going to be praised. And I can't wait until the game actually gets released. But I know it's not going to be released this year. It's probably going to be released either next year or the following year. Probably closer to 2025. And then here is the last one. Now, rumor has it, there was a rumor that Killer Instinct was actually going to be made by Bandai Namco. They actually gave them the rights to actually create the game. They actually did very, very well, the Dragon Ball Fighters. And you know what? I think they're in good hands, and I think they have the passion for it too. So and of course the funds, because this is probably going to be the most complete Killer Instinct. Will it have all the original characters? Maybe. Will they have some new characters? Possibly. Will they have some guest characters? I don't know. I have my doubts. But here's the thing. Now, I looked at this whole entire list and everything, and I realized one thing and one thing only. There are games that are not on the list. Let me name a few. Perfect Dark. Now, Perfect Dark is one of those games that I feel is not going to be showing up for two reasons. One, they actually had a mass exodus over at the studio. I think the head director actually left, and about 30 of the staff left, and then of course they left some of the game to be worked with Eidos. I think it was Eidos' team. They were helping. They actually got some interns to help with that game, so the turnover was probably pretty bad. It was in bad shape, so I am not looking forward to seeing Perfect Dark at all. Not even an announcement, not a teaser, not nothing. So Perfect Dark's out of the question. Any games from Double Fine? No, nothing's gonna show up at all. Outer Worlds 2, you notice that there's nothing about Outer Worlds 2? Nope. The Fable Collection? Absolutely not. Although a lot of people were like, "Oh, but they would be great." You know what? I don't think so. I highly doubt. I highly doubt they're going to do that. And then, of course, at the end of the list, they actually show Starfield. And, of course, they're going to show, most likely, a huge deep dive, and show the graphics. And I heard that the whole entire presentation is going to be in 4K and 60 frames per second on YouTube, Twitch, Xbox, and etc. etc. So, what are your thoughts? What do you think? Right now, I am looking at a stellar list of amazing games that are going to be coming out for the console, of console of choice. And I have a feeling that a lot of the games are going to be shown on the Xbox Series X. They're actually going to have a disclaimer, and they're going to be transparent. That's what Aaron Greenberg said. He's going to be transparent. So, and let you know if the game is going to be in-game footage or what have you. Which is great. They're not going to do no more 12-month windows and none of that stuff. They're not going to give you any empty promises, but they're going to make sure there's actually going to be more dates. They're going to be more, let you know if the game's going to come out in 2023, or they're going to give you a clearer date. If they don't have a date, they're going to give you a estimate, which I'm pretty sure they will. This is going to be an amazing show. Now, here's the thing. All those games that I just talked about, take everything what I said with a grain of salt. That was a stellar list, And of course, a few of the titles that I actually was thinking about putting in the Speculation Town were actually on that list. So, you know what? Maybe some things will match up and everything. And trust me, I would actually be so extremely happy if they actually do bring those games out to the public and show up. It'll be a killer show if that's the case. But let's get into one last thing. This is actually kind of breaking news, and I know everyone hates talking about the CMA. I know no one likes talking about this whole ABK deal, but this is actually something extremely important. And everyone was speculating. Everyone's speculating that the CMA was actually in cahoots with the FTC, the US FTC. So I'm actually going to take one final break, and then I will let you know exactly what happened.
Vigilante 8 blows up.
Yep, we had a lot to talk about. And that's the final thing that I want to talk about. This is actually breaking news. They find out that the CMA has actually was in cahoots with the FTC during the phase 2 of the of their investigation. And let's be fair. They actually did mention that they did mention it during the hearing that they did have talked to the FTC briefly through certain occasions, of course, but they didn't really specify how many times they actually did. So let's get into exactly what they had talked about, shall we? Oh boy, this is actually really, really spicy. Let's get into here. I'm gonna call this what it is. Once I get done with this, and I want you to have your opinion about this. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Says the CMA. This is actually a letter. Of course, that actually what they. This was the letters that was exchanged during their tenure. I believe it was actually 26. I believe it was 26 different calls and 27 different calls and about 76 different emails that was exchanged between the FTC and the CMA during the phase 2 of the findings for the ABK deal. Now, they actually they were not 100% truthful about how often they actually were talking. And I don't think it was actually illegal as well. It reads as follows. Dear Darren, thank you for the opportunity to give evidence to the committee on 16th of May. Now, listen to this. This is very interesting. During the session, I committed to follow up in writing on 2 points relating to the CMA's international engagement. The committee has since asked for further information on a third point, which is this letter also seeks to address. Now, this is actually where it goes as follows. Now, this is the contact with the FTC in relation to Microsoft's planned acquisition of Activision. Across much of its work, including merger control, the CMA works closely with other competition authorities around the world, FTC Commission, so they're actually talking about their shared goals, businesses, challenges, best practices, benefiting people, yada, yada, yada. Now, then, of course, it says engagement in relation to the individual cases also brings substantial benefits in particular. So it was talking about all the benefits and the assessments and yada, yada. Now, check this out. This is actually where it gets interesting. Now, it talks about a CMA investigation of Microsoft's anticipated acquisition of Activision. There was engagement with numerous overseas competition authorities. So they actually had contact with several authorities as well, including the FTC. The CMA's waivers in place from the emerging parties as well as some third parties in relation to the several overseas authorities, including the FTC and the European Commission. Now, talking about the European Commission, I think actually being separated because their unions are no longer the same. They're actually in different vectors of the European Union, who's a European Competition Network, the ECN. Then, of course, it was talking about the formal forum facilitating cooperation, extensive mutual assistance between national competition authorities, the United States, yada yada yada. Now, actually, what really gets juicy is actually talking about the communication with the Microsoft in advance of the CMA's decision and relationship. Now, it talks about following the evidence session of 16th of May, committee asking for further information. And these are practices, the CMA Commission. And it was talking about, now here we go. In early stages of any phase 2 investigation, we set out the theories of harm, which will follow the framework of the CMA's assessment through published issues, statements, and invite written submissions on these concerns from the merger parties and other interested parties. Excuse me. We then often hold a site visit to gain a greater understanding of the parties, businesses, and to engage with key commercial and operational staff. Our more developed thinking is then shared with emerging parties throughout the annotated issues statement and key working papers may also be shared. Once again, inviting commitments to the merging parties. Following that, we hold a hearing with each of the merging parties to test certain evidences and explore key issues in our investigation. After considering the merging parties' responses to our working papers and comments at the oral hearings, we publish our professional findings and, if relevant, remedies notice for public consultation. Now, when I'm reading all that, this is something that they actually, they said it was formal. Now, here's the thing. Why would they actually contact the FTC more than one occasion? They only needed a little bit of information, right? Why would they contact them so many times? It doesn't make any sense. Why would they actually contact the FTC and everything? What are they trying to gain? Was there some kind of negotiations going on? Was there some kind of, deviance? I have no idea. Now, of course, they were talking about the original findings are not final, which obviously this is actually before they actually made the final decision. Then they said the theories of harm originally set out is no longer considered to be a concern. Now, see, look at this. Now, it says the theories of harm originally set out such that it was no longer considered to be a concern. Now, this is before they actually made the final decision. They actually feel like that the cloud and all that stuff was actually going to cause some harm. All this right here, all this information, everything was before they made their final decision. Why would they actually decide all of a sudden that cloud gaming was actually going to cause a theory of harm. I'm actually kind of curious about that. It blows me away. Talk to me. What is there to gain? What is there to gain from all of this? I'm just trying to figure out, why are they actually so bent on blocking the deal? And then they had the nerve to go online and claim that they are not they only do they only block 1%. They only block 1% of the deals. Only 1%. I am not too I'm sorry. I don't think they have any clue what they are doing. I really do. I believe they're just blocking it just to block, just to add some clout, just to say, hey, you know what, we can do it too. Just so they can actually put another notch in the belt. And the FTC and everything is probably gobbling it up and stuff like that. And they're trying to do the same thing. But right now, they're actually trying to sue Microsoft for $20 million. Because they said there was the Child Protection Act for online gaming and purchases, I believe it's called. And supposedly they did it illegally, and they without the parents' consent, they actually gather children's information and stuff like that through means of their engagement on the console, and they felt like they were doing it illegally. But then let's talk about Sony. I mean, let's say, hey, what does Sony do? What does Nintendo do? I mean, what does TikTok do? What does Netflix do? What does Facebook do? What do they all do? They gather information. This is not new. This has actually been going on for years. And all of a sudden, they just pinpoint one big company and they say, hey, you know what? Let's go after one company so we can actually get some money out of them. That's exactly what they're doing. Because Microsoft is a big corporation. If they actually can they realize that they're not going to be getting any money from the other government. They know they're not. So they're actually going to sue Microsoft for $20 million because they know they can. So that way they can fund whatever the heck they're funding, so they can actually keep themselves alive, so they can keep themselves functioning, so they can keep themselves doing whatever nonsense that they're actually doing, because they're not really doing much. They're just sitting right there spouting a whole bunch of nonsense and everything. Linda Khan and everything, Lena Khan, she's a con artist. No pun intended. But anyway, that's all I have for you. This is all I have for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you actually enjoyed my show. Please, why don't you just go do yourself a favor. Hit that like and subscribe button. Please, hit that bell if you actually like the content that you actually listened to today. And of course, just remember that I'm actually going to be around this coming Friday. That's right, this Friday at 8 p.m. I'm actually going to be going over the Jeff Keighley Summer Game Fest. All the games that they actually announced. I'm actually going to take a day to actually analyze all the games that they actually have shown. I'll give you all my opinions about what they are going to show. I'm actually going to, probably give you some more details about what I'm going to be doing in the future. And then, of course, there's also a Devolver event and the Capcom event. All these things are going to be happening over the weekend. So I'm actually going to gather all the information too. So you're going to hear all that. And then, of course, before that, you're going to see me directly after the Xbox showcase and see if that list was as accurate as it is. I might even do myself a little checklist or something like that. So I'm going to put a check and an X on all the games that they do and do not show. And if there's any standouts, I will actually talk about it during the show. So, anyways, that is it. That is all, ladies and gentlemen. This has been an amazing show. This is Gamers Play. I am HUD Zero, the old school gamer. And of course, the Iron Over Xbox. And remember, love the games that you play. Keep on gaming. Stay awesome. And game on.
Bye.